Hi, I'm Stacy. Welcome to the kitchen of my old Kentucky home. Today on Bourbon and Biscuits, we're going to be baking up something that will make your home feel warm and cozy. We're going to be doing a ham Kentucky style, and Jessica will pair it with a bourbon cocktail using one of the glaze ingredients, brown sugar. Let's get started. For our Kentucky style ham, here's what we'll need. 1 fresh ham, 2 tablespoons Dijon mustard, half a cup brown sugar, 1/4 cup Kentucky bourbon, 1/4 cup sorghum, and 2 tablespoons of whole cloves. So when many folks talk about Kentucky ham, they're probably thinking country ham, something that we certainly love here in the Ham Belt, which is what they say runs through Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Kentucky. Very much known for our country ham. In fact, we've done an episode where we've done some country ham with red-eye gravy. But today we're gonna make what, when I was growing up, we would call city ham. And this would be something my aunts, grandmother, mother would prepare on a holiday like Easter or Christmas and bake it for a couple of hours. They used to use maybe Coca-Cola and then the pineapple rings with the maraschino cherries on it. We're not gonna do that today. We're gonna do my version of a Kentucky twist on this from some old cookbooks that I've read and kind of put together using some ingredients that we love to use here on Bourbon and Biscuits. Of course, bourbon, and we're also gonna be using some Kentucky sorghum today. The first thing we're gonna need to do is if your ham was not scored, we're gonna need to score that. And a lot of products do. I know a brand called Kentucky Legend here in our state has them already pre-scored. This one was not a Kentucky Legend, so I'm gonna have to do a little scoring. And we're just gonna basically make some, I guess about a 1/2 inch score one way and then the other. So we're just gonna do that. Just gonna make a pretty pattern on this, and this is going to be where we are going to insert our cloves here in this next round. You might be wondering what the difference between a country ham and a city ham is. A lot of taste. Country hams are salt cured. Some of them are smoked and cured, not all of them, at least for a year. And they have to be, when prepared, usually soaked in water before you would even be ready to cook and serve those. A city ham is not as salty, so you don't have to soak it, but you do want to, even though this is fully cooked and boiled, this baking and glazing just gives it another depth of flavor. Okay, so we're gonna score it this way now, make a little grid pattern. Oops. Okay, now here is the fun part. I've got some whole cloves, and I don't know who came up with this. I have so many cookbooks that are, like I said, at least 100 years old, and this is a technique from those. But these guys are just the perfect, they almost remind me of like an old Light Bright set. They're just a perfect little thing to insert in this little guy, and you're just going to take them out one time and insert them right in the score where it comes to a point. And we're just gonna do that all over this ham. I think it makes a really fun project for young kids to do, because like I said, it's kind of seems like Light Bright or something. And we're just gonna put that all down the line here. This is really, other than the baking time, this is the most tedious part of baking a city ham, but also kind of fun. I am very pleased with how our little artful formation turned out here with these cloves, and that was a lot of fun. And now we're just gonna put this baby in a prepared roasting rack. All I've done is add some aluminum foil to my rack here. It just helps with cleanup. And the last thing we're gonna do before we put it in a 350-degree oven is we're gonna add a cup of water to the base. And you can add a little more as you go if this seems to be drying up. This just helps keep the ham moist while cooking. So this is an 8-pounder. We're gonna cook it 15 minutes per pound for a little over 2 hours, because at an hour and a half, we're gonna take it out of the oven. We're gonna whip up a glaze and put it on top for that last half hour, 35 minutes of cooking. So let's take this out of the oven. While our ham is in the oven, I just wanted to show you how to whip up this very simple glaze. It's really just easy. We're gonna just mix our 4 ingredients. We'll start with our brown sugar. Like I said, Jessica is going to make a cocktail out of this, so that'll be a nice pairing. We'll add our Kentucky sorghum, making it the Kentucky style. You can use molasses or honey, or if you don't have either, you could also just double the amount of brown sugar if you wanted. That would work fine as well. We've got 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. You can use a stone ground mustard or just a prepared yellow mustard if you like for that as well. But you must have Kentucky bourbon no matter what. And we're just gonna mix this up, and like I said, whatever the amount of time that if you had a 3-pounder, you'd want to, if you had a 12-pounder, you would want to bake that ham 3 hours, so you'd want to pull it out at 2.5. You want that last half hour of baking to have this glaze on it. So we're gonna pull ours out of the oven, because it's an 8-pounder, right at 1.5 hours, and simply pour this over the top and bake it off another half hour. So we'll get this ready for that, to do that. So while we wait for that, we're gonna send it to Jessica, who, by the way, is on vacation. So she's working at a bar away from home. But if this pandemic has shown us anything, I think it is how you don't have to be physically together to be together, right? So Jessica, let's see that bourbon cocktail.
All right, so today, to complement Stacy's bourbon glazed ham, we're gonna be making a brown sugar bourbon sparkler. I'm gonna be using Kentucky bourbon, of course. I've got a rich simple syrup, which means that we're gonna use 2 parts brown sugar to 1 part water. Get it hot enough to dissolve the sugar and let it cool before you use it. I've also got fresh squeezed lemon juice, orange bitters, and Prosecco to top it all off. So in a cocktail shaker where I already have some ice, we're going to do 1 ounce of this bourbon. I'm actually using a new Louisville bourbon today. This is from Bro Brothers Distillery. I'm gonna do 1/2 ounce of this brown sugar simple syrup. Also going to do 1/2 ounce of the fresh squeezed lemon juice. And we're just going to do a few dashes of the orange bitters. I actually have an eyedropper here on these Woodford bitters, so just about 1/4 of an eyedropper full there. All right, now we're just going to give this all a good shake. Like I always say, we're going to typically always shake any of our cocktails that use fresh squeezed juice. All right, that's all nice and chilled and well combined. So we're going to just strain this into our coupe glass. And then I'm gonna top it off with Prosecco. You don't really have to be too precise with how much Prosecco or sparkling wine or champagne, anything like that you wanna add. Just fill up your glass there. And the last thing we're gonna do is just garnish it with a little bit of some fresh lemon peel. I think the sparkliness of this with a little bit of acidity and that rich brown sugar is gonna pair really nicely with the ham. All right, so I'm gonna squeeze this a little bit to get those oils out of the peel. Just rub it around the rim of our glass and then drop it right in there. And there you have it. It's a brown sugar bourbon sparkler.
Well, I really wish Jessica were here so she could smell how amazing this kitchen smells, and I know this is going to be so tasty, but more importantly, I wish she were here so I could have that great looking cocktail. But never fear, I have my bourbon neat. So to the next time, we'll see you on
Bourbon and Biscuits.
Cheers.
Cheers.